Now, you guys ready for your feature act of the evening, yeah? Hell yeah, man. He's coming all the way from Colorado Springs, my best friend in the entire world. Put your hands together for Russell Keller!
I'm not a cool guy. I have a hard time convincing people I'm not a youth pastor. You didn't get tricked into a weird late-night Bible study. This is, in fact, a comedy show. I'm not a cool guy. I don't think anyone's ever looked at me and thought, man, I bet that guy rides a motorcycle. But I think people have looked at me and went, man, I bet that guy exclusively travels via motorcycle sidecars. Yeah, I'm not a youth pastor, but I think I could do it. Seems pretty easy. I grew up in Colorado Springs, so I've just been around youth pastors my whole life. I've just been exposed to so many of them. Hey now, that I think I got the idea. I think being a youth pastor goes something like this, okay? Imagine you guys are 16. Imagine you're my flock or whatever. And it's like, hey kids, all right, don't drink if you're not 21. Underage drink, if it's not safe, it's not moral, don't do it. But I'm not stupid. I know some of you guys, you're gonna go out, you're gonna have fun, you're gonna be drinking anyway, so if you're gonna be doing it, I just wanna make sure you're getting home safe. So come do it at my house where I can watch you and keep an eye on you. That's a good guy. That's a good dude. He's looking out for the kids. Or like, hey kids, some of you out there, you're getting to that age where your bodies are changing, right? Starting to feel some of those urges. It's okay. Totally natural. It's totally normal. But I just want to make sure you guys aren't being dumb, so I just want to make sure you're using protection. So come do it at my house where I can watch you. Keep an eye on you. You guys didn't like the joke where I was a sex criminal nearly as much as the other jokes. I gotta do some mental math and adjust the rest of the set real quick. There's about 9 more of those coming up. No, I'm not a cool guy. Like, I don't drink or do drugs, and it wasn't a choice that I made. It wasn't a decision that I made. It's just that in high school, no one cared enough about me to peer pressure me. Okay, that was less of laughter and more of empathy. All right, I get it. Just a lot of you understanding, nodding along. I get it. Some people have, like some kids have people have a cop face, right? They look like a cop. That's not me so much. I have more of he definitely rats you out to the cop's face. From 14 and up, I've just looked like I've perpetually been wearing a wire, so. But yeah, and I have to be specific. I have to say that I don't drink, I don't do drugs. Because I can't say I'm sober. Because I feel like sober gives you some expectations of what is going on up here. I think if someone gets on stage and they say, I'm sober, you guys would look at them and go, wow, look at that brave man up there. Look at that brave man. He saw his life going in a horrible direction that he didn't like, and he made the courageous choice to make the hardest decision of his life. Good for him. That's not what I am. I think beer is yucky. I had a Budweiser Light one time. My body rejected it like the poison that it is. Yeah, so I have to be specific, because the last time I said I was sober, I was at a party with a friend of mine, and someone offered us some beverages, and my friend said, oh, no, thank you, I'm sober. And the guy was like, oh, I had no idea, how long? He said, I've been sober for 4 years. She said, wow, good for you. And then she went to offer me a drink. And I said, no, thank you, I'm sober. She said, oh, I had no idea, how long? And I said, my entire life. And she said, get out of my house. Just a heads up for any of you guys out there, if someone then is like, okay, well, what do you drink? Don't say milk. They don't like that. They don't like it when you order a round of leche for you and your boys. I was like, I'll take 2% and leave the bottle. But yeah, I'm not cool. Like, I've only had one girlfriend ever, and I wish I could tell you that was because, just from the moment I laid eyes on my wife, I knew she was the only one for me. It's not that romantic. It's, before I met my wife, girls my age were just not, like, super attracted to staunchly Republican 13-year-olds. I don't know what happened in like the summer of 2007, but when all my friends started they're filled with testosterone, they're growing their first pubes, they can't stop talking about girls, I could not stop talking about what a hero John McCain was. And girls want to talk about like Twilight and like One Direction. They don't want to hear my thoughts about the direction the country is heading in. And it's not like my fault. So I grew up in Colorado Springs, so every time I got in the car, my parents were blasting me with like AM conservative radio. And so it sucks. It sucks. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican either. It sucks talking to someone who has all of these social skills of a recently pubescent 12-year-old, plus all of the same like opinions and bravado of a Rush Limbaugh. That kid sucks. Like, great example, one time I was in gym class, and some buddies of mine were like, hey, Russell, did you notice when Stacy leaned over you could see down her shirt? I'm like, oh, yeah? Well, did you guys notice that Obama's middle name is Hussein? What's that all about? I want answers. The one time I got to, like, make out with a girl before I met my wife, it was after, like, a big football game. We just won against the rival school. Tensions were high. Emotions were high. We're at an after party. And a girl, she takes my hand and she leads me into a back room and we start making out. And her hands start to move a little south. And she goes, Russell, do you have any protection? And all I could think of to say was, the only protection I need down south is a wall, goddammit. You liberal slut, you keep your hands off me, you hussy. This is a Christian household, how dare you? But yeah, my wife, she's the only relationship I've ever had. One woo, thank you. The rest of you are sinners. That's fine. It's all right. She's the only girlfriend I've ever had. And yeah, it was just like, we've been together a long time, okay? And I am starting to feel bad for her. So we've been together such a long time, I'm just a different person now than when we met. I think I slow catfished my wife. It's like when we first met, I was on the wrestling team, I was on the football team, I'm lifting weights, I was drinking water. Insane. Like when my wife first laid eyes on me, I had a body like an action figure. But I just turned 30, and now I just have a body like an adult man who plays with action figures. Which, that's of course a joke. I would never play with action figures. They lose all value as soon as you take them out of the box. So those say above the mantelpiece. All right. I can tell I'm getting a little bit bigger. I'm getting a dad bod kind of now, because when I used to spill food, I used to get stains in my lap. And now, all my t-shirts stained right about here. What you guys call the solar plexus, I've been calling the grease trap for about 2 years now. It's all right. But yeah, I love my wife. We got into an argument very recently. Like I said, I just turned 30, and it was my birthday recently. And last week we got into a big argument because she got me a gift. She doesn't feel like I appreciated the gift enough. She got me a $50 Amazon gift card. She's like, I guess that would be nice if we didn't have a joint bank account. That's all the same money, idiot. She doesn't get it. Makes no sense. So, I decided for Christmas, for her, I'm just gonna write Chipotle on my debit card and gift wrap that for her. think that'll get the message across. My wife's amazing. She's the best. She's a fiery woman. She's Polynesian, which does not mean she can have sex with other people. I have to make that clear. So I'm kind of a sheltered guy. I didn't know there's all these polyamorous couples out there. So I didn't realize when I was telling people my wife was poly. Some mixed messages going around. It didn't click for me until, like a couple of years ago I was doing a show and this like throuple came up to me and they're like, yeah, we're poly. I was like, you guys don't look Samoan at all. Maybe Tahitian or something light-skinned. 2 people thought that was funny. Good. My jokes are like a targeted Facebook ad. I just go until only 3 people are having a great time. Really high conversion rates, though. But yeah, I was telling people for years my wife's poly, and I like a lot of conversations make sense in retrospect. Like people were like, "Oh, I didn't know you guys were like a poly couple." I was like, "No. You're misunderstanding. No, she's poly. I'm Jewish." I don't think you're getting it. I go, is that hard on your relationship? She's poly and you're not? And I'm like, yeah, I guess in the beginning there's some cultural boundaries we had to overcome, some hurdles. Like obviously she's poly, so she has a little bit more of an exotic appetite than I do. Whereas like call me old-fashioned, but I just like to eat the same old thing. That's a good one. People in Colorado Springs don't laugh at that joke. I don't know if it's because they don't know what polyamorous people are, they don't know what Polynesian people are, or if they can't imagine going down on a woman. I don't know what it is. I never laugh at that joke. It only does good up here with the libs. I got a weird reaction. All right. My wife and I, we have a baby. We have a girl now, which is amazing. Thank you. That's right. I have had sex before. Hit it. All right. Thank you, sir. Not that I've had sex with you. I've had sex with my wife. I didn't mean to point at you. I apologize. I've made sweet love to this poly woman. No, and like I said, we have a kid, so I've done it. I've done it all the way. I have done 100% sex. I think that's pretty good. And now I've completed sex. Now I don't have to do it anymore, so that's nice. Get back to more pressing matters, like my Sudokus and documentaries about World War II. It's where real passions lie. I didn't necessarily want to be a father. I just needed proof that I've done it once. She's really more of a certificate of authenticity than anything else, but I do love her deeply. It was a weird transition, going into, parenthood, because I don't know. Before we had my daughter, for years it was just me and my wife, and we're 2 young adults, and we kind of get to do whatever we want, whenever we want to. Now it's like 0 alone time anymore. I can't even watch a movie before, like, okay, here she comes, she's crying again. It's like, all right, why are you crying this time, sweetheart? Are you tired again? You hungry again? Did you poop yourself again? Right, and then you still have to check on the baby. Childbirth changes a woman. I don't know what to tell you guys, but yeah, a lot of people are surprised to hear that I've impregnated a woman. None of you will ever be more surprised than my dad. So I told my dad, I said, hey, Lydia's pregnant. And my dad said, hey, you're not gay? Turns out my dad has always thought I was gay. And the number one reason he believes I'm a homosexual is that I have always preferred chicken to beef. And according to him, that's gotta mean something. Like, we'd be at the hamburger store, but I'd order a chicken sandwich, and he'd go, okay. All right, careful, Russell. I don't know if you know. What they say about one too many chicken sandwiches, right? You know what they say? They say it's hens today, cock tomorrow. So just be careful. That's what I'm really getting at. My daughter's great. She's the best. I love her so much. She's a little bit older now, and she's got such a great vocabulary. Like the other night, my wife was putting her down for sleep, and my daughter, I hear from the other room, my daughter's going, "Mommy, I love you so much. I could hug you for miles and miles." Right? I'm like, I want a piece of that. So I go in there, I try to give her a hug, and my daughter goes, "You'll never catch me, fat boy!" And then she ran off. I was like, "Oh, I would die for you. You're the coolest." My wife is, she's actually pregnant with our second child now. Thank you. Statistically, done it twice. You can't deny me. 3 times is a pattern. It's coming up. But it's so great. Like, it just reminds me, like, we were doing the ultrasound. Like, what the female body is capable of in comparison to like how low grade the male body is. Like we were doing the ultrasound, and the ultrasound tech is like, you can tell the egg that was fertilized came from the left fallopian tube because the embryonic sac is on the left side, and the embryonic sac is actually a little like, I don't know, it's like a little, it's not a cyst, but it's like a little thing that actually feeds the baby before the placenta comes in. And I'm like, whoa, my wife's body is creating temporary organs to create temporary organs to sustain the life that's inside her body. And that same day, I sat on my own balls. You're telling me my wife is creating seasonal organs? And if I just take a load off with enough gusto, I could kill off my entire bloodline. Doesn't seem fair at all. But yeah, I think we're done. I think we're done having kids. And, you know, I don't want to put all the responsibility on my wife, but male birth control is, like, not that great. Because it's like, male birth control is like, I don't know, you either cut it or you stuff it. It's, like, very caveman-esque. And I can't afford a vasectomy, and condoms seem wasteful, so we've just been putting a chip clip on it. And wherever that goes, I guess, is up to your imagination. But it's good, because like, it's reusable, it's rewashable. You know, it's kind of fun, so it keeps things from getting stale. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm a very nervous dad. Like, I was really nervous when we were going to name my daughter. Like, I didn't name her till she came out because I wanted to make sure she had a name that she looked like. You guys know what I mean? Because I remember the first time someone said it to me, it traumatized me. I was doing a show a couple years ago. I was introducing myself to a gentleman. I said, "Hello, my name's Russell." And he said, "No." Which I didn't know you can do. I didn't know that was an option. He said, "No, you don't look like a Russell to me." He's like, "You look more like a Dennis." And that bothered me, because I hadn't heard the expression at the time. I didn't get it until a couple weeks later, actually. I was doing a show down in Atlanta, and I met a gal, and she introduced herself to me. She said, "Hello, my name's Gorgeous." And I said, "No." "No, you look more like a Dennis, now that I'm thinking about it." But yeah, I am nervous. And my friends, when they found out we were having a daughter, they asked me, like, "Are you worried about having a girl in today's day and age?" And I guess I never really thought about it too much until recently when I took my daughter to a restaurant. And she needed to use the potty, so I took her to the ladies' room. Here's the thing. At this restaurant, I've only ever been in the men's room. And over every toilet in the men's room, they have a little poem. They have a little hand-stitched limerick. You guys have probably heard it before. And it goes, if you sprinkle, when you tinkle, be a sweetie and wipe the seedy, right? Here's the thing. I took my daughter into the ladies' room. I'd never been in there before. And fellas, the poem that the women have above all their toilets, it went, if you're worried that you're being sex trafficked, call 1-888-378-3777. And that's what hit me, like, oh my God, ladies. That doesn't rhyme at all. That sucks. All right, I've been Russell Keller. Thank you guys so much. Keep it going for Thad.
Russell Keller, one more time. Give it up for him.